thrust himself under a pile of hay in a vacant stall, where he lay concealed, all but the tips of his horns.
Welcome
One of the oxen
to the celebrated nightly news of Calaveras County. Now, we have some interesting bumper music here.
It's a musical reading.
It's not music.
It's actually a reading of Aesop's fables.
Yes.
The stag and the oxen.
Yes, and this is another free audio recording from Gutenberg.org. So the reason why we did it is not only do they have music,
they have
audio books. So let's...
And it sounds like Logan's Run.
Who accordingly began to congratulate himself on his escape and to express his gratitude to the oxen. "We wish you well," said the one who had spoken before.
Welcome
"But you
to
are not."
Carnival.
Well, okay.
And those of you who know about the sci-fi classic,
yes,
Logan's Run from the 70s, know to which I am referring. Carnival. Everyone dies at 30.
Well, on that note, I've been dead a long time.
And resurrected many times as well.
But anyway, well, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Tonight's Tuesday night. It's post Board of
Supervisors.
And today
it was
a short
still
meeting.
A light agenda,
it was a
light
meeting.
And basically, the two things we talked about last night passed.
Yep.
Your little teaser passed. Sheriff's Department actually received a grant for over $25,000, $25,000 and $25,221 in grant money from Alcohol Beverages Control to actually crack down on underage drinking in the county.
Yes,
exactly. So they will.
I think they're going to use decoys. And I was going to volunteer since I'm
That's
looking
right,
so youthful.
So youthful.
Somebody might think
youthful.
Yeah,
so youthful man.
They were like, man, that's the sorriest looking 18-year-old I've ever seen.
You'll get carded. Oh yeah.
No, they'd probably be checking for a pulse. I was like, man, is this guy
exactly.
18?
Yes,
Whoa,
yes,
look at the mileage on this guy. This can't be true.
And the airport received their approval to have Granite Construction do all their work out there. And that's in the amount of $1,389,174. And also, it was declared Professional Eligibility Worker Appreciation Week in Calaveras County.
Say that twice, or 4 or 5 times, really fast.
No.
No.
So that's basically the recap for Board of Supervisors. Right. Not a lot going on.
Well, public comments were a bit interesting. Yes, because there was some comments on some of the. If you may have seen some of the Supervisor Walensky re-election concert stuff that. So there's some interesting
question about the Arts Council actually selling tickets for the event.
And I guess they've said that they no longer will.
Okay, so, that was the upshot of it. So that took care of that question.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of tempests and teapots happening here, but I think it's. But I think this is pre-election. I mean, it's a valid.
The reason why there was a question was because county entities, in their official capacity, cannot participate in political fundraisers, even if it's selling tickets to an event that includes a artistic performance.
Right.
So that was the question, and the Arts Council decided not to sell tickets.
This doesn't qualify, does it?
We don't qualify. Well, there's nothing artistic.
Well, sometimes modern art, right?
That's what I was going to say, modern art. We won't talk about modern art.
Yes, okay, all right.
And anyway.
Yeah. We had some dead air there.
Yes, exactly.
No,
I was waiting for you to pick up the ball and run with it. I should just have rolled it over.
Also on Board of Soup stuff, I think, this election cycle, the stuff we've been hearing behind the scenes on this next round of supervisorial elections could be interesting.
Which include Tom Tryon.
Right. So is it those two districts? Is it Walensky's and Tryon's districts?
I believe they are up for... Isn't Claudino up
Claudino as well, huh?
Yes, all three of them are up for re-election.
So it's either 2 or 3. Is that how it breaks down on these things? Because what's the term?
It's
3 years?
It's 4 years. I'm sorry.
4 years.
I wasn't quite sure what your question was.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, District 2, 1, 3,
Yeah, I wasn't
5,
sure what my question was either, so I guess we're both in agreement on that.
It's a 4-year term.
Okay.
The supervisors serve for 4 years, and there are no term limits on local supervisors.
So I guess for supervisors, what I'm saying is there's election, was it every 2 years?
It's every 4 years.
Right, but I mean there's
the
a
cycle.
supervisor, because for example 2 years ago,
yes, I'm sorry, yes.
The last election
cycle was
District
3 and District 5.
Right.
Exactly.
So does that mean on this, but then we're skipping?
We just sound really confused. But Walensky and Claudino came on at the same time. And they're not up for another 2 years, are they?
So maybe he's just getting a head start.
It's just Tryon that's up this time for next year. I think he's getting a heads up on because they just started a year and a half ago is when they were sworn.
So maybe he's just trying to raise money.
2006, I believe.
He may give it to Tryon?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Because
anyway.
My understanding is they were sworn in January of 2006.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Oh, maybe not.
Anyway, there's going to be elections. Confused. And I think the next round of elections should be pretty interesting.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to look it up.
I'll talk about something else.
This is News in Action.
Got it.
And I should know this, but my brain is on half power today.
And a couple little things on the top of the site. Now we have the Calaveras County Council of Governments Regional Transportation Plan. They're going to, and this is at the meeting tomorrow night. They will be accepting public comment on the transportation plan. Another thing on the COG, we placed a phone call there today just to confirm kind of what we had heard from the minutes in the last meeting. Is the bids for the bypass are scheduled to be open the first part of August. So
okay.
And not only then they do anticipate groundbreaking maybe in September.
Oh,
so that would be kind of fun. So, and this kind of ties into the piece where we showed you that the South Main Plaza and Angels Camp was ready for leasing. And we went by there today, and when we took our pictures of the pile of rubble a couple days ago, the signs were actually there. Today, the signs were gone. I mean, they were loading everything on stuff, so it was.
So yeah, they are.
So there's even less there now than there was
clearing
there.
Out.
Yeah. Also, this is kind of an interesting thing on the development side. You know, you hear about the big projects, the Saddle Creeks, the Tuscany Hills, and the big ones down in Valley Springs. But there's going to be one coming up in Murphy's. And the Murphy's Historic Hotel, behind that, they actually have 5 some acres there, and they're actually going to be putting some cottages along the river.
Yes, they are.
And this is a pretty cool thing. I think so anyway. I think it will just add to the allure of the downtown Murphy's. And we actually have a plot map or a projected map for that is in the article on the Murphy's Hotel on the front.
Yes, we do.
So if you want to have a look at what is some of the stuff that's planned for there, we thought that was kind of interesting. And we're going to try to corner Dorian the next few weeks and get a official rundown on the project and where they are, because I think it's kind of a fun piece. Also, while Sarah's just surfing the web over there.
Actually,
just kidding.
Walensky was sworn in January 1st of 2005.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find. I thought that this is consolidated. Anyway, I thought Claudino came on the same time. But
so it doesn't. 3-year terms?
They're 4-year terms. He's starting very early. Walensky's starting very early. He has 2 more years left in his term.
So he's just starting to raise money early.
Some people do. And I should know all this off the top of my head. But I do not. I apologize.
All right. Oh, also on tonight.
I know why.
Oh, they're starting early because they don't actually get seated until.
No, I know why Claudino did not. He had more than.
See, Sarah's our legislative analyst.
Yeah, legislative analyst.
She's analyzing now.
I'm analyzing.
This is real-time analysis.
This is real time, exactly. This is real time. Oh my gosh, why is it? I think what it was is Claudino took it in the primary.
For example, kind of very much like Marita did in the last election.
Yes.
Correct? She didn't have to go into the...
exactly, she didn't have to go
into November.
Oh, but wait a minute.
We're still analyzing?
We're still confused. Wow. Because it shows that District 4 was up.
And while she's analyzing, we'll just do a couple little tidbits. Now, many of you are familiar with Jim Bailey. Now, Jim Bailey is a mortgage broker.
I'm just confused.
He's also on the board of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, he is.
And in his secret life, he plays in a band.
He plays
in Plan B. Mm-hmm. And Plan B was playing at the Lube Room this last Saturday night. So, if you would like to catch a couple minutes of Mr. Bailey and Friends in action, we have it up on the site.
Mm-hmm.
And also some kind of interesting stuff is we posted some shots and went by and took some shots of a tree that got struck last week by lightning. And this was a big tree that got hit in all that electrical storm.
He's talking while I'm like thinking about
because
Tryon and Walensky came up for election on the same
somebody
year.
Has to keep it so there's something being said.
Yes, but Tryon actually won the primary, so he didn't go into the general.
And Walensky did.
And he was sworn in 2005.
Okay.
Right? January 1st of 2005.
Which means it would have been the 2004 election cycle. So if they're looking at the elections at the start, if the season starts in spring 2008, then that means they would actually be seated January of 2009, right?
But I thought Tryon was supposed to be up next year. Was when he was supposed to be. The election was supposed to be.
Well, it is, but they don't actually take their
seat until the 2008.
Isn't that the discrepancy?
Yes.
Because there we go. It's semantics.
I have to look into this more. I used to know all these things.
Back to our exploding tree. There was a tree that was above Dorrington on Black Springs Road that a viewer called us and gave us a heads up on. It was kind of an interesting thing where it got hit by lightning, and this isn't one of the ones that actually caused an ignition or a fire. Mm-hmm. This tree just looked like it had a bomb dropped on it. This is a big, huge tree, and the whole entire top of this tree was just gone. It split it in half. The trunk was peeled. They're obviously going to have to take it down, but it's a very interesting thing on just what the power of a little bit of lightning can do.
You know, I was out at Lake Alpine once and saw.
The reason why she says that is she doesn't go outside into nature very often.
No.
So this is what happened.
This is what happened when I did. I was in the car. It was thundering. My son was there. I turned around to look at my son, and it sounded like somebody dropped a bomb. I mean, it sounded like war. I turned around, and all the bark was flying off the tree in front of me, and it was splitting like this. I mean, it was, and all of a sudden, bark was raining down, and so you get the car in gear, and you back up really fast, but it smashed a picnic table, and the whole thing just came down. It like lifted up and twisted and came down the whole top of the tree.
Interesting.
It was, yes, very interesting. So
what'd you figure out?
I figured out that both Marita and Russ Thomas were sworn in January 1st of 2000 or January 3rd of 2007.
Yes, but they were elected in 2006.
Yes, they were.
So it means they would have. And when were they elected before? Well, Russ Thomas was not elected before.
He was not elected before.
So 4 years before, right?
4 years before.
All right.
The vagaries of the electoral process.
Yes. I mean, anything you want to touch on the national elections?
No.
I guess one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting is they were doing some polls on which candidate was leading. Mm-hmm. And in most of the polls lately, it's been none of the above.
None of the above. That's the crazy thing about it.
That's the news, is that none of the above right now is winning. Mm-hmm. And the other one is McCain's complete collapse. McCain.
Oh, he's just tanked.
And we were talking to a commentator today that says he hasn't seen that swift or a complete... I mean, they said he has a couple months that he could regroup and still get back in it, but... Over the last couple months, McCain was ostensibly one of the front runners, or at least one of the contenders.
Exactly.
And he's just, I mean, the wheels have come off.
Absolutely.
And they just...
he is completely out.
And I thought the commentary was kind of interesting on this, is they were saying that McCain, in his party, has been kind of threading the needle, because his claim to fame is that he hasn't been an establishment guy. He's kind of that maverick. Mm-hmm. But if he's going to get the nomination, he has to... try to go along and get along, and they were saying that you could tell the internal battles within himself
were high.
Yeah, and it's kind of an interesting thing.
Interesting thing.
Do you got anything else over there?
No, I'm just still trying to figure this out.
All right, so I guess I got to carry the show tonight. Sarah's just
2007 right now.
Sarah's just going to surf the web over there.
You know, you never actually think. This is the thing. When you're like a little kid and they say 2000, you never actually think you'll live to see the year 2000.
No, I remember that.
And it is now 2007, as we all know.
Yes.
I mean, did you ever think you were going to live past 2000?
I remember when I was going to school, there was a water heater in the bathroom that had one of those stickers like it was warranted. Mm-hmm. It was warranted until 1990. And I remember when I was in elementary school, and this is back in the dark ages, probably in the middle 70s, and I remember thinking, 1990?
That's so far away, wow.
And
the trouble I'm having now with this election cycle is that it's 2007.
Yes.
And they're actually going to start obviously really hammering it in 2008. And I just can't come to grips with the fact that it's 2008.
Seated until 2009.
So it's actually Tryon and Walensky, so it's not unusual for Walensky to
It's going to be interesting.
But it's also Claudino.
Yeah.
So it's all three of them. So I was correct with my instinctual knowledge.
So I guess it is that every 2 years they have supervisorial elections. 3-2. That's what that was my original question. But
yes.
It was real-time
I've just been surfing the web over
analysis.
Here, getting lost in the 2000s somewhere.
Also, another little piece of this is kind of Ebbett's Pass stuff is announcements were made today. What?
It just makes me look stupid.
Well, that's the object. That's the goal here, because
I'm supposed to know this stuff, and I'm like, wait, this is really confusing to me. If you
compare our respective education levels and backgrounds, I usually feel honored that that I can. So occasionally, if I can get a little, you got to take the advantage of it, because usually you just get smacked down. So
anyway,
just kidding. Also coming up, I really am. Also coming up there was an announcement today.
This is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, that there is going to be an independent movie produced on the Byway, and this is with the blessing of, but really not the financial support, so they still got to do some fundraising of the Scenic Byway organization. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be a movie done on the Byway, which is kind of cool. So
is it just the Byway? What is he?
He's going to do it on the Byway. Probably take some pieces of the Scenic Byway. There's not that many of them, right? So what he's going to do is take a collection of clips, try to get some clips from different seasons and the different personalities. So it's going to be on the region from Arnold to Markleyville.
Oh, that's
And it's going to be a movie done on the Byway.
Okay.
So probably from the different seasons, the different personalities of it, and which I think would be a kind of a fun thing.
I think it's a very cool thing.
And he's going to be out pounding doors the next few months, looking for sponsors for different sections of it. So if you would like to see a movie about this area,
maybe you can be a sponsor.
And it'll be done by Ken Jones.
Yes.
He's a local videographer.
Videographer.
Yes.
Wow.
See, that's an official
title.
See, I'm not a videographer. I just go take clips. Yeah, that's it.
And I'm not a politico. I just sort of am confused sometimes. Yes.
All right. On tonight's news, this will probably be decided shortly.
Yeah, Angels Camp.
Angels Camp
cell towers.
And the cell towers where Golden State Cellular has appealed the decision of last month.
Yes, which was to put a very unobtrusive and quite
invisible.
Hidden cell tower on top of a residence in Angels Camp.
See, I think this is where this is where the public fathers, the city fathers have got to. And one thing we try to do here in the Pine Trees, because I think for the economic health of the county going forward, we have to advance as fast as we can technologically, even for a rural county. Otherwise, we're going to get left behind.
Yes.
And this is a thing to where there is a hole for Verizon and Golden State Cellular coverage right in downtown Angels Camp, the historic part. And this was a fill-in cell site to be able to allow good access in that portion. And finding appropriate sites for cell sites is not always easy or cheap for providers.
It is not.
And they put them up with a considerable expense. And one of the things they have is they found a private residence where they could do a low profile or almost invisible cell site to fill in that area there. And according to the city, they don't want to put a cell site on private property, radio equipment in a residential area.
But they are on residential properties all over the rest of the county.
And I think these are old arguments in the fact that now if you have a wireless router or a microwave or anything like that, you're already emitting radio waves around your house anyway. So some of these arguments are not nonsensical, but
they're somewhat outmoded.
It's passed them by. It really has. And I think in the interest of progress, and the other thing on these is going forward, if there is a cell site that is allowed to go into an area, going forward they can also, when they repurpose the equipment going forward, we've also heard that and this is for most of the providers, not just for Golden State, is as they roll out the next wave of equipment, this next couple months, next couple of years, and this is for wireless data, not necessarily for cell access, but the next round of equipment will allow for DSL speed of broadband wireless access, so you'll have broadband wireless virtually anywhere you can get a good cell signal. So I think cell sites like this can not only have an impact for voice traffic, they also going forward, especially in rural areas where we have some definite topographical challenges, and we need rural for broadband. So basically, we're talking about wireless broadband internet access, and I think that
there's another twist to that as well, and that is that a lot of us up here have to have analog digital phones.
Right.
And in 2008, the providers are required to go completely digital.
Yeah.
And so you need then more cell sites to be able to provide the digital coverage in the topography that we're in, because there is no analog. There will be no analog signals being sent out.
But I think this can also, is a boon for the economy and as a county, because as you go forward, for example, where you are, you have dial-up access, right? And you have one option for broadband, which you'd rather not use.
Yes.
Okay. If they can allow, I guess, easier propagation of cell sites and things like that. For example, if you had a good cell signal at your house, you would just use not only your phone or a wireless card on there.
Exactly.
So probably within a year or so, you would be able to actually receive low-end DSL speeds wirelessly from anywhere.
Exactly.
And also I think that has an impact going forward. So let's say somebody's coming up to visit the area, and that way they can be connected. But not only that, anywhere.
And they're used to being connected.
Yes.
I mean, people are used to being connected now.
Yeah, and for example, like if you take the hotel scenario, there's a lot of hotels now that unless you provide high-speed, in most cases wireless, or at the very least high-speed internet access, people aren't going to stay there.
They won't
stay there at all.
Exactly.
And I think that also extends to the county. Unless we have a good, and the city fathers and everything else get this, unless we can push communication technology forward, and right now there's a lot of people that are looking at Calaveras as a nice destination getaway.
Yes.
But we all know that we have to compete because there's a lot of people
they
now
still want to be connected.
Yeah, there's people now that won't visit an area if they're not connected.
Absolutely.
And even as nice as the area is, unless they can have ubiquitous access, they ain't going.
That's right.
So
that's a big word you used.
They ain't going?
Ubiquitous.
Oh. Well, I mixed that with ain't in the same sentence.
Did they cancel each other out?
So if
I was like, wow, ubiquitous.
And ain't, and they, then it balances out. It keeps it about that third grade level, right?
Okay.
Where we try, won't we do a random sampling and try to keep it at the third grade level?
Isn't
that's
that yes. That is the level we strive to report to.
Just kidding.
And my knowledge base today is about a third grade level.
About a third grade level?
Yes,
wow.
Exactly. Yes. And I missed a lot of third grade, quite frankly.
It was all those third grade classes at Cambridge?
Yes. Yes, talking about Baroque art and medieval art.
Those third grade classes at Cambridge. It's just kidding. Yes, Cambridge Elementary School.
That's right. That's right. That's why I'm confused. I think of the English political system. Yes. Not the Calaveras County one.
Just kidding. A couple things upcoming. The Bear Valley Music Festival is getting ready to roar into.
It is.
The next Saturday night is so I've heard the ticket sales are really going well.
Are they this year?
So okay. I think that is a good thing. So if you want to see some of the concerts up there, and we're going to try to at least do a broadcast or two live. We should try to do a couple news from Bear Valley.
Us two?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to try to do
very nice.
One of our from the festival. And one of the kind of fun things is last year we talked to Jennifer Smith, who was for News 10, right?
That's right.
And her husband is...
This is the scuttlebutt.
No, her husband is the conductor.
Yes, and right. I can't remember what his name is.
Well...
We will eventually.
We're going to try to get them on.
Again?
No, we should try to get them on camera.
Yes, that's
what I mean.
We talked to him last year. You talked to them last year.
Yeah, but no, I didn't talk to her on camera. But
okay.
We should try to see if she'd like to slum it and go on a
web show.
Right?
Yeah, where it's natural lighting and
we'll have to see if she if she has or if she recoils. It's
she
like,
may. She may go. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It also is our lead up till next week. We're going to try to hit our half-hour mark.
That's right. That's right, because next week we start having to broadcast.
Because we're at 28:30 right now.
Well, we better do the weather. We better do the weather.
We better do the weather.
Weather, we've got weather.
Because we can't run long anymore.
No, we cannot.
You know what? You want to start? And I'll pull up the Bangor Maine.
I will start as soon as my page comes up. How's that?
There you go.
I will begin. Arnold, weather. Tonight, 60 degrees, increasingly cloudy. Wednesday, 70 degrees. Thursday, high of 75. And Friday, a high of 82 in Arnold.
Very nice.
And as soon as I can scroll down, it's amazing I got those election results at all. Bear Valley. Breezy on Wednesday. Tonight, increasingly cloudy, 57 degrees. Wednesday, breezy at 61 degrees. Thursday, 64 degrees. And Friday, a high of 70 degrees. And Murphy's, let's see if it's a little warmer. It is going to be a little warmer going into the weekend, actually. Tonight, 57 degrees. Wednesday, partly cloudy at 76 degrees. Thursday, 87 degrees. And Friday, heading up to the 90s at 89 degrees. And then we have Angels Camp. 59 degrees tonight. Tomorrow, partly cloudy at 79 degrees. Thursday, 91 degrees. And Friday, 93 degrees.
93 degrees.
And it's getting warmer and warmer and warmer as we go to the weekend.
Here we go. Bangor, Maine weather. High of 82 today, 56 of a low. Wednesday, 75 degrees and thunder and lightning. So remember, caution as you, or when you're setting those crab pots.
That's right. That's
you don't have that aerial, when you're on the fishing boat out there. So Thursday, partly cloudy, 75 and 59, 74 and 58 on Friday. So remember, send us lobster.
That's right.
Thank you for tuning in from Bangor. We really appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
We do. And thanks for joining us tonight.
And all our other viewers, we appreciate too.
Yes, we do. And we have